Hey, what's going on, everyone? Romeo here, a fellow Spanish language learner. In this video, I wanted to give you an update on my Spanish learning progress for this year. And I also wanted to get from in front of the scripted videos that I guess have dominated my channel for the last 6 weeks. Um, but anyway, I want to go ahead and just give you a live version of what I'm doing to make sure that you all understand that I'm still showing up every day, learning my Spanish. And so I want to show you what I have been doing. Again, this is an update on the plan that I released on, I believe, the beginning of this year in January. And then I did an update 1 month after January, I think the last of January. And so now I am 3 months in, and I'm going to show you my progress. So if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I recommend a certain approach to learning Spanish, at least getting through the beginner level. And that is through the tracker that I have, which is called the 1 Year to Fluency tracker. And you can find that in previous videos, and also very likely going to be in the description of this video. But this plan is very similar in that it takes resources that I use and I go through methodically. And I step by step every day just do some studying. It takes me about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on how much I want to study for a given day, to go through each of these days. Anyway, let's get into what it is. So I've shared this a link to this spreadsheet in the past, and I'll share the link to this spreadsheet again in this video somewhere in the description or in the comments or something like that, so that you can actually click on this at any point of the year to see if I'm still showing up every day. So what this spreadsheet shows is that I'm using right now two main resources. So Espanol C, I talked about that on this channel. Espanol C is a series of videos. Anyway, I talked about it on this channel. So Espanol C is 74 episodes of a Spanish telenovela that also actually teaches Spanish. And I'll give you a little bit of that as towards the end of this video. I'm also using Complete Spanish Grammar. And so I am currently on chapter 19. As you can see, I started at the beginning of this year. I'm on chapter 19 because I'm going through it slowly. It takes me about 3 days to get through each chapter. And structured recall, you're going to hear about this pretty soon. It's something that I think is going to help tremendously with your speaking if you are someone who's in the intermediate stage of learning Spanish and want something beyond just watching videos. I also have this tab here that says Espanol C vocabulary review. And so this is something that I'm toying with, and I'll show you what this is all about, I guess, in this video as well. So what is my exact plan? What am I doing? So Espanol C, before I can check off a checkbox for Espanol C, let's say today, right? So today was watch an episode of, okay, so task 1 is the vocabulary review. So I have vocabulary for all of the episodes. So this is episode 20, and I have vocabulary for each of the episodes of Espanol C. As you see, this folder says Espanol C episodes 1 through 26. And here's the 33 words
fasting,
for this episode. Where do these words come from? Where did they come from?
Absolutely not.
Well, because I am someone who is an astute researcher, I at one point found all the workbooks for Espanol C, the video series, and unfortunately, the workbooks are in Portuguese. And so this was originally a Portuguese program that was teaching Spanish to people. And so I'm like, all right, well, do I want to convert this entire series of books into English and then Spanish? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I wanted to derive the most value from these workbooks. And so what I did was I just took the vocabulary from the workbook for each episode, and I created flashcards for all the vocabulary and for each episode. So I have those, or at least I'm working towards those. I didn't want to do it all at one time. So that's the vocabulary that I go over. And so every day of a training day, so to speak, I do a vocabulary review. And of course, that helps with recall of the words that I either didn't know before or that I learned during my vocabulary review. So I would say, yep, I did my vocabulary review. The next thing I would do is I will watch an episode. So I start with the episode and with subtitles. And so because it takes like 30 minutes to watch each episode, I kind of go back and forth like, should I watch this this video with episodes? But here's what it does for me when I'm watching with the subtitles. When I watch it with the subtitles, even though I understand most of, if not, okay, I'll say 90% of the video without subtitles. I'll give you an example of one that I watched today. I brought this channel up because this is again where you can find them if you only want to use YouTube. But I have these videos in my personal collection. But I'm going to show you an example of when subtitles are definitely needed. So here's video 20 with the subtitles. And I'm going to go to where they're having this conversation here. Nope, not here. Where I'm at. All right, here. So here it's pretty fast.
Gorda. ¿Y a mí qué me importa? Yo necesito cosas sustanciosas. Quemo muchísimas calorías con los estudios. Las verduras son muy energéticas. No hay nada mejor que un buen plato de menestra. Y dale con la menestra. Cuando te toca a ti hacer la compra, empieza la semana de la...
Okay, so that's kind of enough to say what my point is. My point is I'm still at the stage where a lot of Spanish sentences and phrases need to come together for me to like understand the full sentence. Like I can take bits and pieces of, but there are words that I will miss in a sentence that I've never seen before. For example, where she said, "No necesito cosas sustanciosas," saying and it's one of the flashcards I believe also like things of substance, right? And so substantial is a word that I would know, but sustanciosos is another way of say like substantial things. And so reading the subtitles is helpful for me, so that's why I decided I want to still read the subtitles. Okay, what next? So after I watch the episode with subtitles, then I go into complete Spanish step by step. And so again, complete Spanish step by step. This is complete Spanish grammar, which is a different book. So complete Spanish grammar, I use because I am right now like through complete Spanish step by step, which is the book that I recommend beginners use. But for intermediate users or immediate language learners of Spanish, right, I can confidently recommend complete Spanish grammar, right, after you've already completed everything in complete Spanish step by step twice. So I go through each chapter according to my spreadsheet of complete Spanish grammar. And again, I really like the book because it reminds me what I've already learned in complete Spanish step by step. And it goes into a lot more detail of each of the things that I learned there. And it has the exercises. But again, it's not perfect, but it's a quick reminder. And I try to go through it really slowly, as my spreadsheet shows. I pick up more vocabulary, which expands my vocabulary in the language. And then there's always each of the chapters in this grammar book have this section towards the end of each chapter where you have to translate this English phrase or this English story. Some are shorter than others, and back into Spanish. And so I like this exercise. And to do that, sometimes I read it out loud. I just go directly from the English into Spanish using a translator app. Or I pick up or I use Google Translate, All right, so I do my split screen, for example, and sometimes I say, okay, well, because I am doing this exercise and I'm supposed to do it in from English to Spanish, then I can either write it out or I can not spell it out or say it out. So there's nothing written about good taste, says my friend Pablo. So I would, depending on how much time I have, I would speak it out. No hay nada buena, no hay nada escrito acerca de buen probar or something. So anyway, so that's what I do with complete Spanish. What is it again? Complete Spanish grammar. Okay. Moving on. What else am I doing? Oh yeah, so that would be an example of one day. And then I go back into again, so the next day, so tomorrow, for example, the thing I do is I actually read, I do my vocabulary review for the episode again, and then I have a read the video script, scenes only using Spanish. And so the other thing that I took from the workbook is if you go to if you find the workbook, you will see that they have all the different scenes for the episode. So, for example, the scene that I just showed you. By the way, here all the workbooks that I have. So, workbook 20. No, not workbook 20. Book 6, which has episode 20. So, all the different episodes have the scenes. And so I have the Spanish version of the episodes. And so on that second day, I'm reading the Spanish and I'm just reading Spanish, not doing anything special as far as like converting it to English or anything, but I'm reading it, the two scenes. And if I come across anything that I don't understand, the cool thing about Microsoft Word is if you go into review and you go to translate selection, let's say I didn't understand this sentence, pero que dices, right? Well, what are you saying? You can highlight it and then you can quickly get the translation. So I read the entire scene, and this actually both scenes, and that goes pretty fast, maybe 15 minutes to read. So that this way I make sure I'm getting my my reading in, and it also prepares me for the next day, which is watching the episode without the subtitles, because I have those videos as well. And I'm actively listening. And so I bridge the gap between like when I watched it with the subtitles, when I read the scene, and now I'm watching it without the subtitles. And I'm like, yes, I now understand exactly what is being said. So that's what I do there. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing every day. Takes me about an hour and a half. And then structured recall is this new thing I come across. As you can see, I'll share this with only the people that are watching this video. But as you can see, there's a time between this date, 3/13, where is it? 3/13 and 3/25, where I didn't do much studying. And that's because I was trying to perfect something called a structured recall. All right, so you will hear about this very soon in a separate video. But this was my idea of creating something for myself. So I don't want to go into the details right now, but if you want to, you can check out this and you will see what it's all about. But I'm going to start using this myself for sure. What else? Oh, so this vocabulary review. So this was a concept that I came across. It's like, okay, well, because I have all of this vocabulary, how do I keep up with it? How do I make sure I'm reviewing all of this vocabulary? And so that's what this tab is a reflection of. It's basically me going through all of my vocabulary per episode. If there are words that I don't know after like 3 times going through the vocabulary, I star the word. Sometimes I remove the star, sometimes I don't. And so I have this running tab of each of the Quizlet cards that have a star. So eventually, as I finish the beginner episodes, which goes into 24, and go into the intermediate episodes. Like, I don't want to get too far behind on my vocabulary review. So I have this spreadsheet that's going to help me continue to cycle through my vocabulary. Okay, so that's my unscripted version of what I've been doing. Showing you again that I show up every day because it's very important for me to get to the level of Spanish that I want. Over the couple of months or so, I've had great conversations with people who spoke Spanish, and my Spanish is getting much faster. And I am waiting in I'm saying the words that I want to say much faster. I'm understanding a lot more Spanish, and it's just like every day I get to the point where it's like, man, this really is beneficial, and it's and the fruits of my labor is paying off. How long would I keep going? I don't know. It's just what I do instead of watching TV like a lot of other people do. Anyway, now I'm rambling. Hopefully this video was helpful, and if it was, give this video a like. If you want more information about what I'm doing, just leave a comment and I'll answer the comment, because I answer all my comments at this point. And of course, until next time, as always, good luck on your journey to building more functional, usable Spanish. Peace.